Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time you're watching Coffee with Charles. Karibu sana, thank you for tuning in. And today we are going to deal with a couple of questions, and that will be very instrumental to help you make better decisions in your life. So, coming up, he went out there with his family. He's a pastor. He had a passion, but remember, at first he didn't want to go there, but the bishop insisted and told him, hey, that's your rural home, you know the language, you know the terrain, you'll be better. 1.5 years he was getting support. Then abruptly, without warning, it stopped. My husband wants to build a house in the middle of nowhere. Hey, he says that the area will grow in future. But I've been telling him our kids are small and need to access schools, hospitals, or even friends. But my husband will not listen. Welcome back to Coffee Charles. My name is Charles Wachira, and today I'm joined by my wife and counseling psychologist, Rosie Wachira. Karibu.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana. You're going to be answering some of these questions on this platform. And so, as we answer your questions, remember to like the channel, subscribe, and also hit the notification button so that when we release content like this, YouTube can alert you. And thank you so much for being a support. If you have any question or any comment, you can either use the WhatsApp number on the screen, write to us your question, or if you need any help, we can refer you to a counselor. But also, the comment section can also be somewhere you can leave your comment just to tell us how this program has been to you. So let's get to our questions today. Karibu sana.
And
Okay. So there's a question here. This one is a pastor. I've been a pastor for the last 5 years. Our bishop sent me and my family to open a church in my rural home. Though initially I did not want to go, but the bishop encouraged me to go because he thought I understand the people, language, and terrain better than any other candidate. Now, after 5 years, the church has not taken off. It still cannot take care of my salary. The first 1.5 years, the bishop's office used to send me money for ministry and upkeep. But after that, it stopped abruptly, without warning. So I had to hustle for my family. My wife severally asked me to go back to the city since the church had abandoned us. But I refused because I felt this was God's work, and so I could not quit. By the 4th year, my wife could not take it anymore and went back to her parents in the city together with the kids. Meanwhile, I continued to serve in the church plant with no success, no growth. Now I look back and see I should have never come here. It's like I have wasted 5 years and even and also lost my family. It is not worth it now. I'm very angry at God, bishop, and everyone. What can I do? You know, this guy is he went out there with his family. He's a pastor. He had a passion, but remember, at first he didn't want to go there, but the bishop insisted and told him, hey, that's your rural home, you know the language, you know the terrain, you'll be better. 1.5 years he was getting support. Then abruptly, without warning, it stopped. So there are things we don't know there, but what would you tell this guy? He's angry now. I don't even know whether he has gone back to his family. Yeah. What's this?
okay, for me, I'd say it's very unfortunate how things turned out. The fact that you have dedicated your life to serve God, because that's basically pastor, what you choose to serve God through serving his people. And the person that you entrusted yourself, or rather you are serving under, sent you to a place that you've struggled for the past 5 years. So it's very sad, it's very unfortunate that now you are at a place of anger towards God, towards and everyone, including us. So it's just to tell you that the fact that it did not work out, the fact that you felt, okay, look at it this way, when your bishop proposed, you initially felt no. And he insisted, probably you should have explained to him why you felt no, because you must have had your reasons. You knew the terrain, you knew the people, but there must have been reasons that made you hesitate. Did you communicate clearly to your bishop what those reasons were? Then were you in unity with your wife regarding going there from the beginning? So that when things don't work, then you are still together. You still are in unity. Then the fact that the church was supporting you, but then they stopped, was there an agreement for how long they'd be supporting you? Or was it an assumption that they will support you till the church peaks? So there are very many gaps. Maybe you should have looked into and sought answers, clear answers from the bishop. These are my hesitations. What can we do about it? How do you overcome that? Number 2, when it comes to financial support, because our church may take even 5 years minimum, 3 to 5 years for it to be able to support itself. In the in-between, what is the commitment of the church towards me and my family? Because you're going with the family. But also, you and your wife, looking at it like you have children. I'm sure you have needs that you still need to. Your children are in school. There are so many things. The family is still running. What was the agreement and the plan that you two decided? So there are so many things that you should have dealt with as the husband, the father, and the pastor. Because I feel you went towards it just as a pastor. You didn't look at the other aspects that come into play. And now you're angry. However, you see it clearly that it was God's work, and you don't think you should quit. However, God's work should be sustained by God. And at times, saying it's not working is not necessarily quitting, it's accepting the reality. You understand? As in, this thing is not working. What are the options that I have available for me? You're not necessarily saying I'm quitting, but you're saying you're addressing the issue of it not working. So for me, I feel you need some clarity, but you also need to talk to someone. Whether it's a counselor, a fellow pastor, someone you trust, someone who's mature, someone who can keep confidence, but you need to go through those questions and be able to iron them out and be able to find answers for it. Yeah.
I think one of the important issues you've raised there is that church planting, where you are a family man, where you are a pastor, but also you have a wife, must be a combined effort between the man and the wife agreeing. If you're not agreeing, even day one, leave it. Yeah. God absolutely knows you need to agree. I think the first miracle is to create unity there. Because if somebody is hesitant, and then you go to the field, probably the hesitant one will realize things first are not working. And this pastor went blindly. There are a lot of questions not answered. How long was the agreement? How are they going to support him? And then at one point, the wife questioned. But the guy, even when the wife got out and left, the guy decided to go on with Huduma.
and even I remember, you see the church is God's work.
Yes.
Whose responsibility is it to father your children who are in the city and you're away? You understand it? That's your direct responsibility as a father. Whose responsibility is it to be the husband to your wife? It's yours. So even God's church, it's God's business, it's God's pride. You have quitted on your wife and your children who need you more than the church.
So could it be the man was reasoning like the wife is the one who quit, me I'm not quitting, let me serve God. So he also let them go, believing the wife was an unbeliever.
True. However, we have to be, if we don't get, it's about priorities. It's where we place our priorities. And we normally say God is first, then family. If you're married, it's your family, then the church. It goes like that. It's not the other way around. So if you and your wife are not in agreement regarding the church, allowing them to leave and you staying behind may bring for you more problems than answers. You understand? Because already there's a vacuum that you've left. You're not in unity with your family. Yet you're trying to build up the body of Christ.
Yes.
There's a conflict.
Yes.
So for me, I just tell you, I think you just need to pause, take some time off and sort some things in your life. So that when you go back, you're better able to handle the challenges and the obstacles that come with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that guy is annoyed, he's angry, he needs a break.
Yeah.
And he needs to find how to reconcile back to his family fast, and both of them chart their way forward. However, bishops and people who send people to plant churches, this is what happens. You send someone, you abandon them there, believing they're okay. Were there regular meetings of saying, how are you doing? If you send, a church sends you, they are responsible for sending you. They should find out how you are. They can't abandon you and stop giving you money as if you have money. They should have had a conversation. But also the husband and the wife should have continuous evaluation of meaning. Maybe every year they should sit down and say, is this working? And because at the end of the day, the man and his wife and his children are the ones who will remain. That church closed and go, and people will find another church. Will you find another family?
True.
So let's take a break. Take your coffee. We'll be right back after this break to continue with question number 2. Welcome back to Coffee Charles. Still here with Rosie Wachira, tackling number 2 question. So let's go on. Let's see what this question is all about. Okay, so my husband wants to build a house in the middle of nowhere. Hey, he says that the area will grow in future. But I've been telling him our kids are small and need to access schools, hospitals, or even friends. But my husband will not listen. He wants to build in the area where there are no people or neighbors. I'm sure there are wild animals there. Game Park, I don't want to break my marriage, but I'm not going there. What do I do? Even in a plot. And I've had this story.
And the husbands could build nowhere.
I've had this story like, of course, where there is no one, the land is cheaper.
Yeah.
In future, when there are people, it can be very expensive and you will be rejoicing.
True.
That's a mentality that, hey, let me go over there when people are not there. But unfortunately, you can imagine you are in the middle of nowhere. You can even meet a hyena or as you walk. Kids, where they going to school, maybe when this guy, they have a car, he has to walk, let's say, 10 kilometers to the What do you have to tell me?
I think the husband is doing a noble thing. Like I said, he wants to build a home for his family. Unfortunately, he may be so focused on the future that he forgets life is lived in the here and now. The fact that he has a family, the fact that the children are still in school, and the fact that they need to access hospitals cannot be wished away. So I think as parents who are making decisions, and especially men who are the head of the family and they're deciding for the family where they will live, they have to factor the things that the wife is raising. He has to consider that the wife might be seeing something he's not seeing. In the future, the place will be prime. However, you see your children have grown. What kind of childhood would they have gone through? when you're exposing them in a secluded place, a remote place, and also factor in security. A remote place, higher chances of you being robbed are higher, because who will you run to? Even scripture says, surely, who will you run to if you have no neighbors around you? Where is your security? But when you have people around you, it raises the security. So I think the lady still needs to talk to the husband, to sit him down and talk to him. And if it's not possible, invite another couple who will be able now to talk. And if the husband can listen, the better. But it seems she has already made up her mind that she's not going there. The fact that you want to build your marriage is a good thing. And also, the fact that you have decided, Wendy, you see, it's an obstacle. Even when it comes to negotiating, you also closed. Me, I'd also ask the lady to remain open. You know what you want to do? The core is that you want your marriage and family intact. However, when you take a stand, it may limit the productivity of your negotiation, because you may also be blindsided looking at only one angle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And very, very good answer, because I'm thinking it's man driven. The guy is so consumed, and men, really, if I would say, we might get so consumed with vision that nothing else matters, including your marriage. You're not seeing what you're doing to it. You are looking at the goal. Like, I need to get this money, so I'm going to work day and night. But when you finally have gotten the money, there is no one in that day and night. Your children are grown up, your wife went. There's nothing even to benefit from it. Like men, we become so engrossed. Like, this guy wants to build a house. Now he's seeing, if I build it now, it will be, reasonably affordable for us, affordable housing. But it will be affordable, lest in future when I come to build, it'll be so expensive. Because really, estates that have grown and areas that are good to go to nowadays, we find roads and houses. There once a bush. Somebody had to be the first one. But then, even if you are the first one, reasonably, it should not be a wild forest like this guy. So, what would you tell men with that consumption of vision? It really takes us into the wilderness or caves. And then, by the time you discover who you destroyed, maybe it's too late.
Yeah. And maybe that's why it's important, before you action a decision, you need to pass it through someone else, a wise person, someone you trust, so that they're able to give you feedback. It may not be your wife, but it should be someone mature and someone you trust who's able to speak into your vision and help you crystallize, so that you have not missed out on anything. Because otherwise, you again, it's in all spectrum of life. Because this one is obsessed with building a home. Someone is obsessed with starting a church. Someone is obsessed with starting a business and wants to use the savings on that business. And is not seeing he may lose it. You understand? So before men run to action, the vision, they need to sound it off someone. So they're able to now have a solid plan. Yeah. And that is very important for any man. Yeah.
And the woman in this scenario, we just advised her not to take a hard stand. I don't know what's a better way for the woman to be able to convince the husband without making him feel that his plan was useless. Because at times men just feel, Allah, you give me a better option. And the wife, doesn't have another plot, doesn't have another area, but he's saying don't go there. So they feel also trapped. As women, who may end up suffering most, because this guy will just be living in the wild bush with your children, and most likely you won't take them to that hospital. You'll be going to work and back. What would women do if it gets to that position? Is it that, because men at times are very hard to convince to go seek help. They think they know it all. So, including myself.
True.
So
extremely true.
So what did you tell your fellow women in this scenario? Yes, they should not close the conversation by taking a stand. It's over then. But also, if the husband is not listening and they are going to danger, what's the option?
I think that's a very tricky and difficult advice to give, because it's based on the person, whereby you're saying that you as a person must have your irreducible minimum, meaning I'm open to deliberation, negotiations, but haiwezi pita hapa. There are some things that hapana. I think when it comes to the education of the children, as in the things that matter to you, so that you're not again feeling as if you're standing for nothing. You understand? So the fact is not to be closed when it comes to the communication and the negotiation. However, you must have, as a person, as a mother, because you are the one who bear the burden of your thing. You must have a stand. Yeah. Something that you're saying, for me, this is what will work.
Yes.
And this is what I want. Yeah.
So if somebody argued, that wife should just submit. You go follow your man, go to the bush. The man knows better. Your calling is to submit to him. Now you are rebelling by saying you're not going. Where is God in this thing? God is saying, submit to your husband. Is it blind submission, like if you're going off the cliff, go with your husband?
No. I think we misrepresent God, and also we really misinterpret submission.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think submission means now, because I'm married to you, I cease to use my brain. Because that's something God gave me even before I got married. You understand? As in, submission as an element of intelligence and soberness in it. And even for the man as the head, it's not headship. You're not a king. You're not a king over your wife. Because then the wife has no choice. You submit to the king. You understand? You're not called to kingship. You're called to the office of a husband. Yes. So even for men, when a woman gives feedback, she's not being rebellious. She's giving you something that may not be seen. So men need to open up allow themselves the fact that you got a living human being as a wife. Expect opposition, expect resistance. Yeah, expect some life happening, yeah. So for me, I just say it's not blind submission. It's not. Even someone may enter a cult. You want to tell me also follow in blind submission? Really? No. Yeah. I think there's an element of wisdom and discernment and knowledge. So it's just to look at your situation, circumstances, and think what will work best for me and my family. Yeah.
Awesome. I think that guy who is watching and you're in this scenario, or that woman, that is something you need to consider. It's not just blind submission. And the guy, don't be so consumed with vision that you don't even know what is currently happening today to your family. We'll be right back after this break for our third question. Welcome back to Coffee Charles, and we're going to look at question number 3. I'm still joined by Rosie here, and she's going to answer this question. Remember, you can always ask a question on the WhatsApp line there or the comment section. Okay, I'm a 22-year-old lady in college. I am expecting a baby. This is my 2nd month, okay, of that pregnancy. My boyfriend has refused to take responsibility, accusing me of cheating with another guy and blaming him with the pregnancy. Oh, my dad heard of this pregnancy and said whoever is responsible should marry me and I should not return home unless for Horatio. Where? I'm really stressed and I'm thinking of aborting this baby. I just cannot go on. I know I need to talk to someone, and that's why I thought of writing to you. Hey, this template keeps repeating itself. That she's a 22-year-old girl in college. you're there to study. You went there to study, but hey, you meet guys. The next thing you're pregnant, and you will also, these girls. I don't know where boys and girls in college or young men and young women get into sexual activity without protection, and then they are so shocked when a pregnancy appears. It's just biology 101. It's high school training, and I think class 8 primary also we are told about reproduction. It will happen. So Baba and I, Baba, as usual, my Baba. This Baba is saying, and kwenda huko, I'm not going to take responsibility. It's not my baby. You go find whoever it is, unless he's coming here for Horatio to pay the dowry. Honestly, this girl is alone. What do you tell her?
Yeah. So, for me, regarding this lady, this question, I like to address for people, and let's begin with the lady. The fact that the young lady went to college and decided to have sex, unprotected sex, or maybe she did not factor that with any sexual encounter she may become pregnant, it's very unfortunate. So it is to remind ladies that even young people, anytime you indulge in sex, there are sexual consequences that may follow you. For her, it's a pregnancy. For another, maybe a disease or an infection. So we need to be very careful to safeguard ourselves so that we don't find ourselves in a position that we did not anticipate. Then, number 2, now that you are pregnant, you are thinking of aborting because of the pressure of your father and also the abandonment of the boyfriend. Already you are pregnant, you're 2 months pregnant. When you abort, you're not solving the problem, you're making it worse for yourself. So I think for me, I tell you to, before you conclusively decide to abort, find someone that you trust, that you can talk to about the options that you have with you, so that you make the best choice, as opposed to a choice due to the circumstances that you are facing or the pressure that is currently here. So find someone that you can talk to regarding the options available for you. And then the other thing is just to remember that I didn't hear her talk about the mother. And I would want to believe that the mother would be better than the father, because already we've heard how the father stands. But if you could just talk to the mother, who and again talk to the father on her behalf, or an auntie, someone who is able to penetrate the father, so that the person acts as a middle person for her and the father. Another thing, the second person is a boyfriend. The fact that boys do not get pregnant, they get away with sexual intercourse and impregnated girls and not bearing the consequence. It is wrong. When you're sleeping with a woman, a lady, young man, and you're not using protection, she may get pregnant. And the fact that you are there does not now mean when she gets pregnant, you run away. Yeah, because why didn't you raise that issue before? Understand? So when you're sleeping with a lady, be prepared to be a father. Then, and if you're not, safeguard yourself so that you don't find yourself in that scenario. So that young man has a responsibility to take. Unfortunately, he has chosen to abandon her. And I don't know whether the lady is able to, whether she knows the family of the young man, whether they're able to handle it as a family. Like you're saying, if you let the guy go, he's still going to impregnate another woman. So is it possible for her and her family to approach the man and his family and talk about it? Because it's for the two of you. You are the both of you are in this problem together, only that the woman is carrying the child. Then the father, the fact that your daughter came home pregnant and you're forcing her to get married, or you're threatening, giving an ultimatum, it's not right. Because if the girl's already abandoned her and she's just 2 months pregnant, what kind of future will your daughter have with that man? I don't think marriage is a solution. I don't really think. And the fact that you think she must get married is wrong. She can raise that child without getting married. He may not be the right person for her, clearly, even his behavior is showing he's not prepared to take responsibility. So when you do that to your daughter, you're exposing her to more harm and danger and even wrong choices. So I just speak to fathers. Kindly, when your daughter comes home pregnant, don't throw her out. You are the father. As much as she's made a mistake, don't make it worse. By either forcing her to marriage or forcing her to abort.
Mm. And again, I tend to be in these episodes that we've shot, that these men seem to lack something. It's what I would call parenting a child that is flawed or has done mistakes. We think we are called to parent children who are perfect. They will never come home drunk. They will never be in crime. They'll never abuse drugs. They will never be pregnant. We seem to be comfortable with parenting perfect children. However, it's not it.
True.
If you are a father and you're watching this, and this week your daughter is coming home to tell you she's pregnant, we are telling you you're going to have to switch to parenting a child who has done a mistake. And really, even these men, they are so tough, but they also made those mistakes.
It's true.
And they are so tough. You wonder they were angels in high school and in college.
Yeah.
And maybe even you, Baba, who is telling this girl to get married, you never married that woman. So it's could parents, and I see you said where's the mother, because she's the voice of reason. Could we have men more understand children will make mistakes? Boys should understand there will be pregnancy in case you will start engaging. There can be a pregnancy. But also, fathers should understand there can be a flawed or a mistake channel to parents.
And you know that there is. That is a guarantee that the fact if or when they're flawed, they will be flawed. Because each one of us, we're fallen beings. We make mistakes. We are prone to blunder in life. So as a parent is to remember that just the same way you're not perfect, your child won't be perfect. So you have to extend grace. And at times the thing that looks like an abominable, it's so big now, because it's happening now, may not be the same case 10, 20 years from now. So this child who's in the womb is your grandson or daughter, whether you like it or not. So how you treat the mother who is your daughter will affect your relationship in future. And we've had people who have been divided because the father could not handle the daughter when she got pregnant.
Yeah. And so, as we come to a conclusion of this program, we ask fathers who are out there and boyfriends, take responsibility. Responsibility is not when things are convenient and when things are easy. It's when things are hard and tough also that you take responsibility. If you've impregnated a girl, take responsibility and see how God drives you in that journey as a full man. But when we run away, what are we teaching? What are we saying? What if in future you have a daughter and a guy runs away? How will you feel? So I think for everyone who is watching us here, it's been good to hear all these questions answered. And if you want to have your question covered in an episode, put it on the WhatsApp page. The WhatsApp number there. Write as a text and we'll see it and answer. If you need counseling, you need help, you need to talk to us, you can use the same line and get back to us. We'll get back to you and refer you to the right appropriate places you can be counseled. But also, like the channel, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that when we release content like this, you'll be alerted by YouTube. And so from me, thank you so much, Rosie, for coming over to this episode. You've given us insight. Karibu sana. And so, good night. God bless you. This has been Coffee with Charles.